Welcome to our class. In this class, I would like to go over some other grouping and phrasing elements commonly used in HTML markup. You can typically find these in the appendix of an HTML reference book. On the left-hand side, I have my editor. On the right-hand side, I have my Chrome browser so that you can see the display. On the left, I start out with my header structural element, and inside I have my heading level 1. You should always start out your web page with these two elements. I would like to draw your attention to the figure element. This is new in HTML5. It is used to give more information and to highlight an image or other illustration. We have an opening and closing figure tag. Here is our image element. We also have a fig caption element so that we can give that image a caption. If you look on the right, you can see that this is a block level element. There is space on the top, there is space on the bottom, and it also indents a little bit from the left. Notice the fig caption is directly underneath the image. That is possible because this is a block level element. The image is inline, and anything underneath it would normally be placed alongside it. I would next like to contrast a paragraph with the block quote element. So here we have a typical paragraph on our left, and here is our block quote. They are both block level elements. On the right, you can see our paragraph extends the width of the browser. The block quote is indented equally on the right and left. In my paragraph, I have the definition DFN phrase element. This is a semantic element that indicates that the text inside is a term or a definition. In the browser, it displays as italic. In my paragraph, I also have a Q element. This is an inline element, and Q stands for quote. It is used for single one-line quotations. In the browser, it automatically puts the quotes around it. Also, as I said, it is an inline element. There is no space on the top or bottom. The block quote element is sometimes used with the site attribute, indicating the URL as a reference to that quote. The site element can also be used to indicate the author of the quote. Notice in the browser, the site element is an inline element, and it renders in an italic font. I would like to talk about the pre element. This stands for preserve white space. And I have placed a border around it here in my browser using CSS so that you can actually see that it has a lot of white space on the top and on the bottom. It enables you to render things exactly as they are placed inside your editor. Remember, HTML ignores white space. I would like to draw your attention to the sub element. That stands for Subscript. It is an inline element, and notice it allows the content to be displayed as a subscript. We also have a superscript. This is an inline element, and it enables the content to be displayed as a superscript. Inside my footer element, I have an address tag. This is a block level element, and it is used for that purpose, for addresses. Notice it renders in an italic font. We have our break elements, which take us down to the next line. In my footer, I have two generic divs, and in my browser, I have placed borders around them using CSS. Notice, even though these are block level elements, there is no margin on the top and the bottom, so they actually stack right on top of each other. In my first div, I have a special character. That is a special character for a copyright symbol, and you can see in my browser how it is rendered. There are many special characters that we can represent in the HTML language. They can be represented by what is called an entity name or an entity number. These will probably be found in the appendix of an HTML reference book. I would finally like to discuss the word break element. The purpose of that is to tell the browser where to break a long word, such as a long URL, in the event that it needs to. If you look in my browser, that URL extends the whole line. there is no break. However, should I start making my browser window smaller at the point in which it can no longer fit the entire URL, notice that portion of the URL drops down to the next line because of the word break element, which makes the URL. So these are just a few more HTML elements that you might find useful